Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is it, the finals of the Kiev Major Open Qualifier #1 European Region Finals here. So we have two teams going at it. One of these teams will be going to the regionals. Will it be Prodota GaminG or going in? Well, we're going to find out here in a best-of-3 series. So really looking forward to this. Once again, I am Breaky CPK, and joining me now, actually switching things up a little bit, I'm going to be joined by a new co-caster here. I'm going to be joined by ZR Rock. How's it going, man?
Hey, Breaky, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We've been casting these open qualifiers since yesterday, and I don't know how much you've been tuning into necessarily, but yesterday was a little bit it was so-so. It was fun, but today's actually been pretty good. There's been some really close competition, and excited for this one here, man.
Yeah, that's kind of the cycle with the open qualifiers. There's 2 or 3 teams you're pretty sure just going to smash their way through to mid to late day 2, and then the games start finally getting good. I mean, the last couple series were pretty good. Prodota is looking insane, though. I mean, they handled their semifinal series.
Yeah, and that's almost an understatement. Again, I have history with at least a couple of these players like I was talking about, Insania and Mickey, former Han players. I know, guys, I like to talk about that. I'm sorry, but it's fun seeing them doing well is my point. So I'm doing my best, though, not to be too biased. They're going up against a great team and going in here. This should be a good one at least.
I mean, we all know you have a Han history, and so then, of course, you bring in the Han guy in for the finals, huh?
Of course, yeah. It's going to change things up. I've already slipped up a couple times. I believe I said,
I heard you call Dagon Codex. That was good. That's one I never even picked up in Han. I've always called it Dagon, even in Han.
Yeah.
But either way, so yeah, let's take a look at these first couple picks here. We're seeing the Rubik Jug opening out of Prodota Cup and the Darkseer Disruptor out of going in. I think that Rubik Disruptor Open has been so common from so many teams because it's safe and it's flexible. I just think that pick's very strong. The one thing I've kind of noticed throughout this tournament, though, is if Juggernaut gets put on the back foot, he tends to struggle. His damage output isn't as high, his recovery potential isn't great. If the Omni Slash isn't something to be scared of, Juggernauts have struggled in this tourney.
Yeah, in fact, you mentioned that. I'm trying to kind of think about, we really haven't seen a lot of Juggernauts in general, these open qualifiers. Now that you mentioned that, I really can't recall seeing too many. So Juggernaut has always kind of seemed like one of those just overall sound core options. But yeah, I think you could definitely have something there. So Prodota, perhaps, we'll see how it works out for them. Now, Juggernaut, when we do see him, it's pretty much going to be a 1 position nowadays, I feel like. Is that probably certain here, you think? Or
for the most part, I think the mids that are in existence right now are putting a little too much pressure on him for him to really be a great mid laner anymore. But the one nice part, if you can flex him over to the mid, and picking him now, they don't have to show whether he's going to be a carrier or a mid. But if you pick him now and he gets a chance to get a good matchup in the mid lane, he doesn't need as much farm. He doesn't need those explosive items. He can kind of just, max Blade Flurry, run at some things, and just be a little bit of extra damage in the fight rather than the main carry. So I think that's why Prodota here hasn't picked another carrier or mid laner up. And I don't think we will see that until 5th pick more than likely.
I want to go to the bans real quickly. And something that we did see in that previous series with Prodota, at least in that second game, was that Wisp. Again, I believe it sounds like you were watching that, and the Wisp being played by Come With Me there. Fantastic Wisp play. It was a lot of fun to watch. Now, I'm not saying Wisp is a hero you pick up every time by any means, but are you surprised they maybe didn't ban it here? And could you see it as an option, or is it probably not going to happen?
The opening from Prodota doesn't scream Wisp in any way. Rubik's already a fairly low damage support who struggles to do a lot in the lane itself. And if you pick up a Wisp, it kind of compounds on that issue. Then you have 2 essentially do-nothing supports for quite a while. Obviously, we saw him do some things on the Wisp early game in that game. But as tradition states, a lot of teams that were even known as Wisp teams, Freedom's a notable thing, as Jubei is a huge Wisp player. Even some of the EGs have kind of stepped away from it a little bit, saying it just doesn't do enough in the first 10 minutes to really pick it up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he smashed with that. Him and the Storm just went on a tear, and there's nothing stopping Prodota here from going something like Wisp Storm.
All right, that could be a fun finish indeed, but we'll see what this 4th pick ends up being. They did ban the Centaur, by the way, another hero that in general has kind of been picking up a lot of steam for a lot of teams, and I know Prodota was one of those, of course, picking up earlier themselves, and not surprised to see that ban as a result coming out. Now, Invoker going to be the 4th pick for Prodota.
Yeah, the Ursa pick kind of blocked the Jug mid as an idea. Ursa just demolishes that attempt at a lane, and you can just run mid Ursa and run at him all game, and it's a nightmare to play for the Juggernaut. So they kind of had to go with a mid. Invoker's a good safe mid. If you get some connection with some Sunstrikes early on, he can really cause a lot of damage. Lift into Sunstrike is so much at like level 3 or 4 for the Invoker. And when you compound that with a Jug spinning on top of them, they're going to kill anybody that comes. So I like it a lot from them. It gives them some good global presence. It gives them a lot of damage to help supplement the fact that Rubik lacks that in the early game. The TA pick here is interesting, though. TA and Ursa both very, very snowball heavy. If they get ahead, they're very scary. But if they fall behind, they do tend to struggle a little bit, and it's a little harder for them to find some recovery. So going in definitely needs to get on the right foot starting this game off here.
Well, that also makes it interesting with the middle matchup too, right? So does this mean it's going to be a TA mid and then Ursa is in the short lane you'd expect, or?
I'm sorry, was that you cut out a little bit?
So expecting now the TA mid with the Ursa in the short lane?
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be what I would expect. There's a small chance going in could aggro tri-lane with the Disruptor Ursa something. But yeah, I would expect it just to be a safe lane Ursa. You get him phase boots early on, maybe a blink at 9 to 10 minutes, and then he runs around trying to kill him. It's up to Prodota here. Most people have been running Nyx as an offlaner. They could flex him into a support role here and go with something else if they don't like that matchup. Melee offlaners can prove difficult against an Ursa without some type of an escape mechanism. So
here we go, their final pick. I mean, they got a lot of time to think about it, about a minute 50 on the reserve time, so definitely options here to come out. Again, expecting really another support option to go with it. It would be something to see Wisp on the other side, perhaps go with that Wisp Ursa even, and kind of using their own weapons against them, but yeah, that's one of what could be many options, of course. And as we were talking about earlier, I mean, Wisp is something you have to be comfortable with as a team, so I don't know if going in is necessarily that, but gonna think about this. As far as Prodota is concerned, we've seen a couple of support Nyxes come out, so I guess that could still be a potential.
And that was the thing everyone wondered when the last patch came, or the last major patch came out, was Tome of Knowledge enough to bring Nyx back as a support? Because his struggle's always been he needs a level 6. And supports were so low on XP before, and then the 4 bounty runes and the Tome of XP came in, and everybody thought, well, maybe he can be ran as a support again. Maybe he can get those early levels. But running him as a support with a Rubik is really greedy. You have two heroes that desperately need levels early on, and they're going to struggle to find him, as Jug's going to want most of that lane to himself.
5 seconds remaining.
That Doom's interesting.
Doom is interesting. I mean, the ultimate's good against a hero like Invoker, right? So maybe that's kind of what they're thinking here, but
they're kind of committing that this Nyx is going to be offlane. Wow. And it looks like he will be at this point, because Ursa Disruptor will push a Nyx out of lane without any help at all, so that leaves Doom free to go wander into the jungle, devour a couple creeps, accelerate his own farm, and play a little bit greedier. So going in really in a position that if they can get ahead in lanes is going to be insanely far ahead at the 15-ish, 20-minute mark. But that Pudge pick,
yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, Pudge is always going to be entertaining, right? And come with me. He played a very aggressive and a fun Wisp. I don't know if he's going to be playing the Pudge here. I know Insania, again, has a history of playing aggressive supports. Now, I will say, Insania also plays a lot of Rubik as well. And that's kind of one of his main, I think he considers to be his main support hero if he had the choice. And yeah, he is going to be on the Rubik here as a result. So come with me, we'll be on the Pudge. And expecting a lot of aggression. But how does this mean the lanes are going to set up? Because I feel like they could be going aggressive here. Like, that could be a legit option.
You think what, Prodota might be going aggressive?
I mean, Prodota, yeah. Pudge is kind of one of those heroes, right?
They could. The problem is that lane's really bad until level 3 or like level 2 or so. You need Rubik to have lift and fade bullet. You need Pudge to have hook and rot before you can really do much with it. And if you try to go aggressive right at level 1, you may find a little bit of a struggle. Going aggressive means you lose your pull camp, and if you lose your pull camp, you get behind on XP. You get behind on CS. Sure, you can try to pull their hard camp, but it's a risk, and if it stops or it backfires on you, it puts you extremely far behind and in a position that's hard to come back from.
Yeah. All right, well,
it looks like Valve is going to give me that fun 10 FPS lag bug, so I will be back in about 30 seconds. I have to restart my computer.
Nice. Oh, restart your computer? Jesus.
Yeah, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. All right, see you then. All right, we're going solo, guys. This is where it gets a lot of fun. No, thank God we're in a pause here, so don't have to worry about that. But again, guys, so to kind of recap then while he is restarting here, coming back in, I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock here as my co-caster. And we have our finals of the European region. Again, this is only the first of 2 qualifiers, so all the teams, no matter even who loses here, They still have a second chance starting tomorrow, but man, we were talking about this earlier, whichever team loses here, knowing that you have a second chance is kind of like, okay, thanks, because you just grinded through 2 days. Yesterday they had to at least play 5 or 6 games. Today they've had to at least play another 4 to 5 games, I believe, to even get to this point. I mean, and there's those out there that will say, oh, you know, ooh, play a lot of video games, like that's a big deal. In a competitive atmosphere where you are grinding and, you know, having to put a lot of thought process into the moves you're making, to the drafting and everything, it can be draining. And I think people out there definitely could appreciate that idea, that it's been quite the grind for these teams. So my point is, you know, if you lose this, it's like, okay, at least we have a second chance, but you just have to go through that grind once again, which no doubt can be a little frustrating, I'm sure. So, all right, you back, Z-Rock? Looks like you might be. Oh, maybe he is now.
All right.
There we go. You are back. Are you back in the game as well, or? Okay, it seems like he's still trying to get that figured out. Anywho, we do see the game kicking off now. Unpause coming out, and the good luck's happening. So, game number 1 here in this best of 3, kicking things off. So as far as how things are shaping up, it does look like it is just going to be Cheshire Cat here on the Nyx Assassin, going to the off lane by himself, with Mickey setting up in the middle and that defensive tri-lane to top it all off. So, Z-Rock, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I absolutely can.
All right, cool. Looks like you're reconnected, good to go.
I am.
Beautiful. All right, so yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be going aggressive, as you're getting at. Maybe a little bit too much of a risk.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Both of these teams, I think, feel like they're going to be the better team. If they play standard Dota, they can win the game. Not really a lot of huge curveballs coming out, other than maybe the Pudge pick. So really, they just want to play their game. They want to play it confidently and safely, and try to make those little edges that are going to get them ahead. So an aggro try just comes out a little too risky. Doom, though, kind of getting in the danger zone a bit.
Yeah, seeing him, though, on the uphill, and they're going to try to steal this bounty rune, and this should give them a 3-1 bounty rune, because obviously their top bounty rune, no one's at it. They're going to run back there. So Prodota off to a solid start. I mean, oh, nice counter word by Mikey, though, by the way. And you know what? That's research being done right there, because the previous series we were casting Prodota, we made points of that several times, and in both games they were very aggressive. They TP'd out. They got that ward down basically in the similar spot in the lane. No doubt going in, researched that, whether they watched the stream or whatever, and picked up there. So,
yeah, those level 1 wards are so important to spot out because they give so much info. And if you can get rid of those, you can rotate people around the map earlier. You can really hide a lot of what you're doing. And getting that D-warded is a huge start to the game.
Yeah. So good job taking away that vision, but into the lanes we go. And really the only even matchup, of course, is that middle matchup of the TA versus the Invoker. If you had to give it either or, is there an advantage in either?
Oh yeah, the TA is definitely ahead in that lane. It's very hard for an Invoker now to break through Refraction since he doesn't have a quick way to get double Forge Spirits. So with Refraction being used well, TA should come out fairly far ahead in that lane. Did not get the early bounty rune though, so a little bit behind in gold, and the Doom's even going to pressure here.
He has a Centaur currently picked up with that War Stomp ready to go, so yeah, applying some harassment there, some auto attacks, but not going to be a kill, just simply, again, keeping him busy. TA farm. So, yeah, keep an eye on this middle matchup, though, as far as the last hitting goes especially. What about Doom choosing to go the boots first, by the way, though? I mean, instead of maybe like an Iron Talent, because he's playing a 4 position, more of a jungle even, is boots first make sense?
Especially with this, if they plan on putting the pressure on the mid lane, absolutely, because it lets him get in range to get these Infernal Blades off. And he's putting a lot of damage into this Invoker. He forced the salve out already. And Talon doesn't help a Doom as much as it helps other junglers, because he just gets to eat the big creep instantly. So he can kind of get by on whatever he wants in the jungle, and he's still a support, right?
Yeah.
So getting the boots early means he's going to get to Arcanes faster if he decides to go the Arcane mech route. So I like that pickup. I think it's a smarter option here for him to start the game.
All right, well, again, doing his thing in the jungle. Keep an eye and see as far as what he continues to get. Doom actually picks up, yeah, the Ice Armor buff to kind of mitigate that damage onto him and help him farm that way. Nyx Assassin, meanwhile, he's continuing to feel the pain from the jabs here playing Disruptor, who actually with the kinetic field first, so he doesn't have that Thunder Strike for added harassment at least. But a little curious about that, actually.
It's just one of those things that if you can catch Nyx in a kinetic, you're putting more damage on him than you will with a glimpse. Your Ursa doesn't quite have boots yet to really run him down, and so it didn't really matter. They knew it was going to be a solo offlaner because they got that deep ward up early game, and that was the option to get you a potential kill versus Glimpse just being a harassment tool more or less. Like right now, the Ursa Nyx or the Ursa and Disruptor, if they hit another kinetic, will probably drop this Nyx.
Oh, Cheshire Cat scouting things out though. He's going to see the pull happening. Here's what you're talking about though. If they want to go for maybe some kind of setup, but Ursa's not really nearby. It's more so just going to be that Thunderstrike harassment again. And Nyx Assassin will walk it off eating some tangos. Meanwhile, top lane could be seeing something up here. Mikey realizing that they're flanking him now. Pops a surge. Gonna run towards the tower. He's cutting through the trees. Boy. He does have a TP. The hook. That was a very ambitious hook attempt right there. Man, he's still going.
This is just an adventure. He's out.
He's good, isn't he? The lift? No, I can't see him.
Yep.
All right.
Well, and this is what I mean, though, with the going and picking the slightly greedier Doom, not being punished very badly for it. They don't need a second support to zone this next out. He's struggling to get some levels here. The only creeps he's really stayed in range for are the ones that they've shoved under him. And he's doing really well for what he could be getting, but the Doom is already almost level 4 himself.
Uh-oh.
They're getting so much out of this early game.
Haste middle lane. They're going for the combo to TA, but the Sunstrike is going to be just a little bit behind him even. And now Mickey needs to be careful with Doom being there. And they're going to push him off. Obviously, the port and also from Disruptor. So no turn kill, but we will remain without a first blood. A hasted Pudge unable to come through. He will pick up the bounty rune, though, in front of Disruptor, so come with me. Still getting plenty out of it. Oh, middle lane, though. He wants to find Mickey here. I don't know if he's going to get the chance unless Mickey goes back in, which he is.
Yeah, it doesn't have a stun or a slow as the creepy 8 is Doom, so all he'll have is the Infernal Blade to actually slow him down at all. Probably wouldn't lead to a kill, just some extra damage, but I don't know why he's sitting there waiting, honestly.
He's being really patient here. Yeah, he really wants Mickey to go in a horrible position, and he might actually get the opportunity right here. Wow, he's literally going to walk right past him. Now the Shrine, though's there, so that's why he's running over here. And he will go use that. Meanwhile, what was that about? First blood at the bottom lane. Mickey actually gets credit for the kill on Ursa, though, in turn, but it looks like he got the kill on the Nyx right before that. Well. Yeah,
Pudge connected with the hook, Nyx comboed it in, and then the Sunstrike provided the rest of the damage, but Ursa acknowledged that, yeah, I got caught and just manned up for the kill. So at least he turned it into a 1-for-1 instead of dying cleanly.
Yeah.
So a little bit better for them here. This early game, though, is exactly what going in wanted to have happen. It's been a slower early game, but they're getting the farm on the people they need. Their item spikes are insane. Once Darkseer gets one item, Doom gets one item, TA gets Blink, they can start running around and opening this game up entirely. The fact that there haven't been a ton of kills is favoring them pretty heavily right now.
Yeah, 1-to-1 right here just from that exchange. Unfortunately, missing it, but Xerox doing a great job of describing what happened at that bottom lane. As meanwhile, middle lane, Pudge running in here, going to counterward actually, and maybe trying to make some play onto the TA, but obviously a lot easier said than done with that refraction up. Doesn't have meld just yet, but refraction more than enough to keep them off of going for further initiation. As double damage rune at the top lane. Pudge is going to protect it for now. And may wait for Rubik? No. I don't know if he's going to just pick it up himself in the end. Or perhaps Invoker, but no bottle or anything.
There's only so long you can just sit on a rune and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's just wasting so much time.
Yep, there we go. Well, going to try to use it right here, but Invoker, not the closest to be able to assist. Getting somewhat blocked as Doom comes in with Scorched Earth. The Sunstrike going to miss. Good job by Blazemon picking up on that. And now we see Come With Me in trouble as Doom's going to try to run him down. But Disruptor actually gets turned on in the process. And now DNZ trying to make his way out of there. Nice Ice Path kind of cutting off that direction. Another hook, though. Oh, that had to tickle.
So close.
But just out of range. And now Insania has the Fade Bolt ready to go. You see Juggernaut running in. I mean, DNZ knows that he's probably dead right here. The Omni Slash, it bounces over to the Ancients, but Pudge will actually be the final one to get the last hit in the end. And they take him out. So they end up getting 2 kills out of it.
Yeah, they did. Very, very well played from them. It was a little sad. TA was almost going to come back in on that, and that Ice Path Invoker through barely came up over the cliff and clipped where the TA was standing as she was coming back around. So it slowed her down, made it so she couldn't really re-engage at any reasonable time. But the Ursa's going the BSJ build, you know, buy Dom on every hero. So we're going to see that Dominator coming out here fairly soon. Once he picks that up, they can pretty much look to contest Roche and force something around there. But Prodota, if they keep this going and just play this consistent game where they're taking positive trades like this, they're going to be very happy. I mean, we haven't even seen a close series from them yet in this open qualifier. It'd be interesting if they can sweep the finals that way, too.
Yeah, talk about making a statement. That would definitely be one right there. Spiked Carapace opening, by the way, to stun the Dark Seer with that Ion Shell up. The Sunstrike's going to secure that, if anything. And yeah, Mickey comes through with the kill himself. So now the 4-1 on Nyx now. He's not out of the woods just yet. The Batteryman's spawning, but that could have been tempting trying to pick that up. But he just has to keep on running. I don't think he's getting away, though. The Glimpse going to pull him right back in. It goes the other direction, actually. Oh, maybe a little bit too far. Thunderstrike's on him, but it's only level 1, I believe. So not doing the most damage. And
Blaze is going to get a double kill out of this.
Going to live.
No.
Oh, okay, DNC. We'll snipe him out, actually. Meanwhile, Insania goes down, actually, over here.
Yeah, the TA basically got Rubik with a trap and was going to turn around and get the kill on Nyx as well. Nyx made a good choice by just going into the Ancients there. If he got the Suicide, that was great. Otherwise, dying to Doom's better than dying to TA. But now we see the Roshan started.
This is an early Roshan.
You have an Ursa.
I guess.
Really all it comes down to.
But man, yeah, this is really early. They know this is happening, obviously, and they're going to try to fight this. Spin in the background, actually, onto the Disruptor. He will be taken out. Sunstrike going to pull him into the Sunstrike, and down goes TA. Beautiful coordination right there. Now DNC in trouble. You know, I understand they have an Ursa, but man, yeah, this seemed like a really greedy attempt.
Peeling off that Roshan was the greedy part of that. They had the Roshan for not free. They would have lost one hero for sure. The TA was going to die, but they absolutely could have gotten the Roshan and then walked out of it afterwards. But yeah, he chased after the Jug after Jug was full HP. That was really odd. He had 20 Fury Swipes already on the Rosh, so wouldn't have taken many more to bring it down.
Well,
maybe just a little bit of nerves.
Yeah.
Playing against Prodota. I mean, these guys are kind of legends in their own right after the drama they caused last major.
The draw? Oh, yeah, that's right, huh? I didn't
they were the ones that come play the NA quals.
That's the organization. I don't even know if any of these players actually are on that team, to be fair.
No, they were.
Oh boy, there's the Glimpse back on a Pudge meanwhile. And down he goes. So he gets caught a little too aggressive there, trying to scout out, see what's happening. So good play coming out. I noticed I am lagging a little bit as far as in game. I don't know if you're getting the same, but
I was until I restarted.
Okay. Well, maybe it's that, but it's not horrible. I just noticed like people like disappear all of a sudden, it feels like. But yeah, we'll bear with it.
It's really interesting, though. You can very clearly point out the kind of two MVPs right now on each team. Like, the Disruptor has set up so many kills with Glimpse already this time, catching people out, acknowledging when someone's ran a long ways and pulling them back. And the Invoker's Sunstrike damage has been a huge supplement to Prodota here. Like, each of these two picks have been kind of the linchpin on the team so far, really making sure they can do something in this early game.
TA going to be going for that first item, Desolator. What do you make of that over maybe, say, that Blink Dagger? I believe we saw in the TA game earlier with Mickey playing it.
Yeah, it means they need to look to team fight and group early on rather than looking for a solo kill with TA. It's going to add a ton of damage and a lot of good sieging ability with the Desolator on towers, so they're going to want to do stuff together. Wow, they scan the Disruptor down here. It's just a matter of how long until they get him.
Oh, they'll get the Satyr. That's was Garner's right there. Kinetic Field not going to trap in, though. And he's going to keep on chasing the spin coming out, but he's not going to die for it. Doom is applied, by the way, to Juggernaut. You do see Ursa, however, he's going to take it as dismember. Pudge is like, you know what, take me, leave him alone, but he gets glimpsed back in. In the background, down goes Pudge, and now the run from Juggernaut. He does have a TP, but he's going to be collapsed on in here. I don't think that's going to be successful unless a spin TP, maybe. No, it's not going to happen. More than enough damage necessary. Ursa, credit for the kill. And that's a double kill in fact, Ursa.
There was a small chance he could have just straight TP'd out when those two illusions there were basically blocking Blaze's way in. And there was nothing that could have stopped him. Glimpse was already down. Doom couldn't get to him for a melee attack. So there's a small chance he could have just straight TP'd and the illusions might have bought him enough time. But yeah, he was more than likely just dead there. But Nyx is on the hunt.
This would be a prime kill. We've seen it before, the combo. Yeah, the Sunstrike right on top, and down goes TA. Blazemon falls, but this is a powerful combo, Nant. And the global presence, Nyx setting it up with the Vendetta auto attack and then the easy Sunstrike follow-up.
Yeah, this is exactly what you need. Invoker used to be a very premium pick, kind of fell off the mark a little bit the last few major tournaments, started to make a little bit of a comeback, but what you need to make it shine are heroes with stuns that can give you Sunstrike kills early game, and as we see, he's 5-0 so far. He's getting those Sunstrike kills, so exactly what he needed to ramp himself up early game, really get him going, and get to that part where he has so many spells that, you know, he has 20 options to pick at any given time.
He's working on that Axe. And, you know, we saw earlier, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, and we'll see what he goes, but we saw an Invoker player as, oh, Garter actually bottom lane, running into a little bit of trouble right here. He has a Centaur, can't stop just yet, but Ursa's chasing him down. Those Fury swipes adding up, and more than enough damage to secure that kill. So that's another big kill on a Juggernaut, and really slowing him down. So, but back to Invoker, he actually chose to get the 30% XP gain talent over the +1 Forged Spirit summoned. What is your take on that?
So if you look through any of the match stats, you'll see that any XP gain on a hero is the statistically worst talent to take. I think that and no, pretty much just that. That is the worst statistical talent to take in the game. But there are some games you just don't feel like your forges are going to do anything. Maybe they're always going to die to some insane AoE, or they're going to just really not provide you anything special, or maybe you're just not comfortable microing 2 forges.
Yeah.
At a pro level, I think that's fairly inexcusable. But yeah, I don't think he needs 25 like he used to. I think Invoker is somebody that when he gets these Sunstrike kills early can still kind of take off and doesn't need to just sit back and farm for 30 minutes. But yeah, I guess I wasn't watching that talent choice in that specific game, so I didn't see what the situation was. But I just think Forges are too good to pass up in most cases.
Judge from there. Oh man, Nyx Assassin, he's in trouble. The Static Storm, everything boxing him out. He goes for a random hook in the background. He pulls in TA, and that's almost hurting the cause because now Insania's in trouble on that Rubik. The glimpse back onto the punch, and he too is going to end up falling when it's all said and done. So yeah, they really should have, in hindsight, should have just kept running right there, rather than looking to make a turn play. And now Roshan, and this time I think they're a little more comfortable.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a safer Roshan attempt. This Disruptor, though, is so insane right now. The way he placed that kinetic static, it basically forced Nyx to either run into it and get caught, or run the other way and be so far away from his team there was no chance of anything happening. Like, he's playing so well on this Disruptor right now, and he's basically carrying this game for his team.
Level 4 Glimpse, that distance is pretty ridiculous. And obviously it's maxed out right here, so taking advantage of that. And helping to set up some big kills. And they take not only the hero kill lead, but of course they get Roshan on top of that as mentioned, and they give the Aegis to Ursa. You like the choice to give it to Ursa over the TA?
Absolutely. I think Ursa is flying on a blink right now, correct? Does he have it already?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he has it on the courier already. So once he picks that up, having the Aegis means he can just blink into a team fight, burn down one person, and then kind of give his life away, and then they start the team fight up after that. And it makes it so when they want to pressure towers, they're really scary to go on. Ursa's able to hit towers if he knows he has an Aegis to fall back on, whereas TA can hit them without it. So I like it a lot. The one thing I'm questioning a little bit here is the Midas pickup on Doom. Obviously, he's getting it pretty early on for a support, but you're so far ahead in tempo right now, you can kind of decide how the next 5-10 minutes go because of that Rosh you just took. And I don't really like an Aegis over something that would give an aura, like a Dahmer of Lads or something like that.
Oh, bottom lane. Ursa trying to chase right here with that Blink Dagger of his coming up in about 5 seconds. Of course, he has the Aegis, so extra intimidating, and is going to force Prodota to fall back. Juggernaut, I gotta say, he died a couple times right there at the bottom lane we saw, and yeah, I thought that was going to really slow down his momentum, but Garter's second in the game still, and he's behind his teammate Invoker. All right, now.
He's just getting so much time. Like, going in's grouping up really heavily. That's kind of what we talked about with the item decisions they've made. They want to stay as 5, and so Garter's just saying, I'm going to avoid you. I have zero desire to teamfight right now. I'm going to go get more farm than you because I'm going to go take an open lane. We saw him take the T1 top while they were grabbing Rosh, so he got some extra tower gold there for the team. And he needs like 2-3 more items probably before he's going to be a huge team fighter in this team. Manta is not going to be enough.
Yeah. You do see Invoker has that Axe now finished. Boots of Travel being queued up right here, but this Invoker really is looking good. Mickey currently at 5-0-2. Top net worth though, speaking of that, 8,700 net worth. Obviously having high impact for the team, especially with those Sunstrike setups with the Nyx Assassin, who currently is inside of the map. The Vendetta's coming off cooldown in just a couple of seconds, and he is building that Blink Dagger himself. Middle lane, though, they really want to make a play here. They might get on Invoker, the prime target. Cast his curse. No, he's going to be hooked back. Beautiful response. And the Ghost Walk just in case.
Yeah, and they're trying to stealthily rotate so many people in here for PD so that going in doesn't necessarily know they're all ready to fight this, but the T1 does fall anyway. Nyx is Vendetta, but he did get dusted out, so that's going to burn about a third of the cooldown while that dust runs. I'm curious to see if as soon as this dust drops, if he starts running at them.
Yeah. Oh, look, come with me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be running in. The Sunstrike landing. Doom Not dead just yet, but taking some good damage. Out comes the meatball, going to burn a little bit, and the deafening blast will secure the kill onto him. Now we see TA, refractions up, Hook's going to miss right there. Nick's assassin, he's being turned on. Ursa going in. The ulti activated by Disruptor, but not really locking them in place, so just more of a zoning ulti, if anything.
Yeah, he used it partially because Nyx couldn't spike Carapace then. It was the first time Nyx had a chance to as he was running away, and it could have maybe disrupted that a little bit. And yeah, as you said, it was zoning. It made it so PD couldn't fight that. They controlled that entire between the ramps area. So instead of being a team fight, it turns into a 1-for-1, which is fine.
But
at this point, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say this is a snowball team, though. I believe you're even suggesting that in the draft and everything. And are they getting that snowball? Because the top 2 net worth is on the dire side once again. So.
The top 2 is, yeah, absolutely. But the question is going to be what happens from here. I think we could see this go either way, but the net worth is more even on going in. If they want to group as 5, they're probably a stronger unit right now.
Well, you see at the bottom lane, obviously the turn right there, watching Nyx die at the top lane. Meanwhile, though, his teammate in Darkseer, or the counterpart in Darkseer, goes down even at the bottom part. Now we have Garter leading the push, though. The Helm of the Dominator, you got not only that aura, but with Invoker, level 15, he did get that second Forge Spirit to answer that question right there. The lift onto Ursa as he jumps in. Doom activated onto Juggernaut. He's in a lot of trouble right here. I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough to save him, truly. Kinetic Field not going to trap him. He's just too far, but Tornado going through. We'll buy some more time. He's going to be glimpsed back in, though, and there's no chance in the end to get away. Now Pudge, he's also falling, but look at the counter Doom on Ursa, actually. Stolen by Rubik, and Ursa ends up falling right there. Of course, the Age is going to bring him right back up, and now Mickey needs to get the hell out of here. I don't know if he has a Ghost Walk ready to go. He's going to try to run, but a lot easier said than done as he gets vacuumed back in. Ice Path going down to help buy some distance, but that's just going to be way too much damage as soon as Ursa joins the party. So big fight for going in right there. Working out in their favor.
Absolutely huge. And that's what this team does. If they can start running at you and you're running away, you will die. Between Glimpse and Surge and Ursa just being Ursa. They have so many ways just to keep a target from running and just burn you down. So PD's got to start all-inning if they're going to take fights. They need to just go instead of, oh, we lost somebody back up, because they're losing instead of 1, 2 to 3 every time. And it's really starting to add up.
Well, I'm going to try to take advantage of those kills by pushing a tier 1 tower, at least, at the bottom lane down here. You got Juggernaut. He's setting up, though. He's got the healing ward ready to go. Omni-Slash good, and yeah, it's going to be intimidating enough to force them back, actually, so they'll leave the tier 1 for the time being, but clearly, again, damage done by them. Overall satisfied with what they accomplished right there in the big picture. And Ursa, that BKB is just around the corner now. 3,000 gold saved up. And the Blink Dagger on TA. We mentioned the Desolator, she went first. Now has the Blink Dagger coming along now. So really when she gets that in the BKB on Ursa, those are kind of the really let's go items. I feel like are going in.
Yeah, the BKB is going to be a huge pickup. And at that point, I think they want to look to get deeper in the base. They need more than just T2s. Like once they get that next BKB and the next Roshan, if they can secure that, they want to be looking for high ground. You want to try to be threatening the base by 25, probably 30 minutes at the latest is when you want to at least be looking at it. And they're kind of on pace for it, to be honest. Garter's still trying to just push out lanes as fast as he can, avoiding team fights. And as we see, he's still trying to cling to that number 2 spot in net worth. But he needs to get relevant, and soon. 1 and 3 isn't going to cut it. And if he doesn't get to another item or two and really start being an impact in these team fights, they're going to bleed out on Prodota.
Yeah, well, they jump Pudge right here in the meantime, but he tries to make some kind of turn. Obviously not going to happen, so easy collapse onto him and easy kill in the end. So I do apologize, guys. Again, it looks like, again, I am getting a little bit of spikes here and there, so trying to make people aware of that, and hopefully we can get that figured out and taken care of. If anything, bear with us in this game, and it'll be brought up and hopefully addressed. Anyways, back to the game. So nice pick onto the Pudge right there. Blink Dagger, though, picked up in the meantime by Rubik, actually, on the other side. And he actually still has, oh, why did I say that? I was going to say he still has the Doom, but it just wears off right there. So unable to get another chance to use that. Oh, by the way, this is being brought up, too. I believe if you mute yourself in-game, because I actually have in your audio going through my audio.
Oh, okay.
Game. Okay. So people are bringing up how they're hearing the echo, yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Forgot to let you know about that, so. But that should take care of the echoing issue that people are bringing up, guys. But yeah, so again, this is game one, guys, of our final matchup. I'm Breaking CPK, joined by Z-Rock here, the European qualifiers, the winner of the series, going to the regionals, and right now going in, actually. Looking fairly good with momentum here, but overall net worth and everything, obviously you got Prodota continuing to be the top two, leading the way with that Invoker. So he's going to Lincoln's next, by the way, on Invoker here. Is that going to be a prime? I guess with the Doom here, that's probably the big reason, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Doom has a very long cast animation on its own, and if you can add a Lincoln on top so you have to cast something else, Doom really runs out of options to cast really quick. Satyr Purge is one option. We've even seen some maybe picking up one of the medium Satyrs, the Mana Burn ones, because that's a very fast cast animation, but they don't have that many single target spells on going in, so if they want to get the Doom on the Invoker and he has that Lincoln's up, it's going to be really hard. Do you burn the Glimpse? Because you don't really want to waste Glimpse.
Yeah.
Thunderstrike's a pretty short range. If Disruptor's casting Thunderstrike on Invoker, he's probably dead. So yeah, I like it a lot. I think they're going to struggle to really find any easy way to break that. I'm trying to think of what they could pick up. We could see the Rod of Atos, that item no one buys ever.
Yeah, you know, Rod, that was interesting because I feel like that was definitely pretty significant buffs that happened. And there was some discussion about it, but Helm of the Dominator definitely took the spotlight, and Rod kind of, was left alone. And I know another item that got buffed, actually, speaking of that, too, is the Heaven's Halberd, another one, even in the recent patch here. But, no, we don't see them.
It just comes down to their build paths being very inefficient, what they give not really being worth an item slot. Halberd takes a while to get to, and once you get it, you don't really feel that much stronger unless there's, like, one right-clicker that's just destroying your team. The evasion kind of seems a little subpar compared to Butterfly. Most strength people don't really look to go with anything with a Sange anymore. We see a few S and Ys coming around, but yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those items that keeps seeing incremental buffs and never quite like getting over the hump. Atos turning into a root I thought was going to be a little more substantial than it was, but it flies so slow.
Yeah.
And if you watch enough games, you'll see most teams have 3 to 4 blinks by the end of a game. And when it flies that slow, all you do is blink away.
Well, potential, maybe, as you said, for the Lincoln's removal, but if anything, not an item that we would really see.
It won't happen.
The idea is there, but yeah. I guess Diffusal is kind of the maybe like a Diffusal on Ursa.
Diffusal doesn't pop Lincolns to the best of my knowledge.
Oh, it doesn't actually? Okay, well, there you go. Learned something else there to put on the list. Figured it would. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's an odd interaction there. But, so we do see the Deso Blink now picked up on TA. She got the 2 basic items she needs to be able to contribute well, and at this point, they should be able to run down every building. I like what GaminG's doing here, though, not trying to contest them. They're just putting pressure on other parts of the map. They're getting some other towers. The only fear of this is if you let GaminG sweep all these T2 towers off of you, and then they get the next Aegis, then they're really dangerous, because they can start threatening high ground right away.
Yeah. Well, Prodota, they're going to be threatening the high ground right here. As, again, Juggernaut obviously leading the way, but here come the TPs and try to go for the hook. Not
he must have thought it was the first TP, but we actually had a TP behind the tower that he couldn't see.
Yeah.
If that was the first TP, that Ursa would have been pulled in, but no one was there to help him. Come With Me probably just dies if that hook actually connects.
That's probably a blessing in disguise then. Happened to miss that one right there. Juggernaut, the Manta style, of course, finished. The Maelstrom in the works right here. So trying to amp that damage of his, as well as some helping even more farm on top of that. But Invoker continues to really just skyrocket here when it comes to that net worth lead, over 14.5k now, as well as being level 18 on top of that for Mickey here on Invoker. So the Lincoln Sphere, again, getting that much closer. Talked about the potential and perhaps how powerful that is going to be this game.
Yeah, and what it kind of comes down to is, at a certain point, if he picks up a Lincoln's, do you bother even worrying about dooming him? There's a good chance you just doom the Jug before you Omni Slashes, or you doom the Rubik, or whoever you can basically get easy access to, and you quit worrying so much about who you doomed and just making sure you get it off. Because it's still a support doom.
Yeah.
It's not like you're running him as a mid or an offlaner and he needs to do something hyper-productive.
They really want to chase.
Yeah, this is the one huge advantage here that GaminG has. TA traps let them see this Roche the second it spawned. Now, the Invoker did manage to throw a Forge Spirit in there and got vision that they were doing Rush, so at least they know, but I don't think they can really contest this.
Yeah, it obviously happened so fast. They even pop a smoke in the background, but you see Roche nearly dead right now. The wall only catches Punch, actually, with the vacuum, but it's going to really zone them out, if anything. So, again, overall working. Now, the wall was stolen, by the way, by Rubik. He puts one down himself, and it's going to prevent them from chasing. At least that's the idea, but they're still going to go through the meatball coming on out. Rubik dropping in the background to that TA. The Static Storm used, but both of the Invoker and the Nyx are going to fall back, and Juggernaut kind of split off from his team, though. Now, they get the kill on Disruptor as well as Doom. So far, 2 for 2, but Ursa, he's in pursuit, wants the kill on the Garter. Don't know if he's going to be able to chase him down in the end, though. In fact, Invoker now cutting off the background. They do so on a Darkseer with the lockdown of Nyx. The triple kill for Mickey, actually. Being picked up, but he will fall finally as TA goes back in on him in the background. The meld, big damage coming out, and he goes down. The spin from Garter in the front lines. He knows that he's surviving throughout that. Ursa now, the one in trouble himself. Some crits coming out. Needs a couple more auto attacks, though, but Ursa, he's going to limp away, gets that blink off, and so does TA, so that's how the fight will come to a conclusion there. Well, 3 for 4, though, actually. Prodota technically winning that fight in the end.
Yeah, the one of the 4 was the Aegis, so it was only 3 kills worth money. But yeah, very, very good for them. That Rubik steal on the wall was so insane because going in thought they had that fight so well with the early pickoff that they have that they all committed straight through that wall and then ignored the images. And what that resulted in is when Ur was trying to close out on a couple kills in the mid lane, he was getting beat on by illusions, stopping his blink. So then he couldn't blink on them, he couldn't get those kills, which gave PD time to regroup. And when they regrouped like that, they were able to go on this huge tear and get a couple more kills to even that out. So huge props to the Rubik for managing to pull that off, and it paid off huge. We didn't even see the Doom cast in that fight either, by the way. He tried too hard to get it on Invoker, died before he got it off.
Yeah, you were just stressing that going into it as well. That Doom may just want to just try to use it on somebody just to have a purpose there in the fight, but yeah, not able to get it off. Dying before he did, no doubt not helping their cause there, so that's overall a decent fight for Prodota, no doubt. Don't have to worry about the Aegis now, and yet more time bought for the likes of Juggernaut and especially that Invoker, who's getting close to the level 20 mark now. See what he goes for there, but Lions being drawn towards the top lane from going in, and TA gonna lead the way. The Hurricane Pike finished on him. Looking for an opportunity, but instead just gonna push up the top lane, go for the secondary tower kill, as Ursa is close by as well, ready to jump in if somebody does show themselves. But again, it seems like Prodota's wanting to evade fights for the most part, unless it's like the Roshan there.
Yeah, exactly. They knew they had to contest that Rosh or their high ground was going to get threatened, and Rubik did make that okay for them. Going in doesn't need to be too timid here, though. Sure, technically they lost that fight, but it was kind of a weird fight. It wasn't at a structure with 5 heroes. I really liked what the Darkseer tried to do. Mikey saw that they had smoked on the edge of the Rosh pit and went for a hero vac wall, assuming you'd break the smoke of 3 or 4 and maybe catch the wall on a couple, but it was only the Pudge. If they had grouped up on the very edge of that smoke there and then contested, Mikey would have just destroyed that whole team fight in an instant. But good idea, didn't quite pay off. But there's still 2 outer towers to get, so going in can take a few minutes, calm down, get those 2, try to clean this game up and maybe close it out. But they just need to play careful, play safe, stay as 5, and keep this pressure up slow but sure. If they can do that until the next Rosh, they're in good shape. But if they can't clear these outer towers and secure the next Roshan, this game gets extremely dangerous for them. The Invoker is going to hit critical mass here soon. He's closing in on 25 eventually. The Jug's still clinging towards the top of the net worth charts. And yeah, I don't know. Going in can do this, but they need to do it right. Yeah, if they make another misstep, then yeah, it's going to be bad.
Nyx Assassin, speaking of that, almost getting caught at the bottom lane, but he manages to blink dagger in time and will survive as a result. So yeah, just more time being bought, more of the distractions as they're getting at Garter. Hits level 19. The Maelstrom, of course, on him, and the Mjolnir, it's coming up. I believe he already has that Hyperstone on top of that. So he is in a very, very good position to have that Mjolnir, thus a lot more damage to come in fights. As currently Insanity on Rubik doesn't have anything stolen, but we'll push out the top lane.
It's a bit of an odd kind of off-meta pickup for Jug, but I'd like to see him go for an AC next. There's so much physical damage on the side of going in, and it would really help them kind of protect themselves in a team fight, as well as add pressure when they decide to get on the offensive. And then if you get in those split base races like they've been trying to do, it makes you so much stronger, because you're taking towers that much faster, you have a ton of attack speed. I'd like to see something like that come out of him next. We'll have to see if that's the kind of route he decides to go for. But other than that, pretty standard.
Yeah, he is going that, or at least has the butterfly queued up here.
I don't think that's bad by any means. I mean, again, with physical damage, evasion works just as well, if not better than armor. So I like it a lot for him. It's a selfish choice, but it's a good choice.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. It's a selfish choice in a sense.
Yeah. So Doom did manage to pick up a BKB. So he's gonna have Blink BKB for the next fight. Maybe we'll let him tunnel in a little bit more and decide who he wants to get the Doom off on. But we'll see if he can get it off before he just dies, because last fight he exploded.
They're pushing up here, is going in the middle lane. The smoke, obviously, is up as well. Double damage run up top being pinged out, but Prodota, meanwhile, they're pushing down on the bottom.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Nyx Assassin is scouting things out. Dire courier killed. Doesn't look like anything was on it, though, so not the end of the world for them there. I guess not much, I should say.
They gave away the smoke, though. Blaze opting to go for that courier did show that he was smoked, so if Prodota was paying attention, they'll know there was one, but now it's game time. Both teams going to try to just hit buildings, and PD's way in the lead for this race. Yeah, they're going to have to fall back.
Yeah, they're going to TP back pretty quickly right here. Juggernaut in the front lines. Again, the Mjolnir finished. Lincoln's going to be popped right there. At least I saw that, I believe. So we'll fall back before anyone... No, that was the mana burn, wasn't it? Again, this is brutal, man. Anyways, Doom jumping in right there. Hook on to Doom as he goes in. The Doom was activated, though, on a Juggernaut. And it looked like he just melted right there with the Ursa follow-up, of course, and the TA. They take out Pudge on top of that. Double kill for the TA. And now they are chasing, trying to get any more casualties. Not going to be the case, but they easily hold that push, it felt like.
Yeah, that fresh BKB on Doom was huge there. After the hook came in, he just BKB'd. They didn't have the damage to kill him off, and didn't want to Omni Slash just the Doom. And with that, yeah, it went terrible for them. What the?
Huh. Well, they kill Mikey at the bottom lane. That was actually the setup again from Nyx Assassin.
Sunstrike, yep.
With the Sunstrike combo, so we get a little bit of a casualty out of it. The split push happening from Mickey at the top lane, meanwhile, but now Doom's going to find him here. Oh, no. Gets the Lincoln's popped, but no Doom effect, of course. But the chase now from Ursa coming out. As he popped the Ghost Walk, however, not going to be seen. He's going for the TP. And he will be fine as he makes his way out of there. So they scan, but just a little bit too late. I'm going to try to reconnect real quickly to hopefully fix this lag, or ideally deal, because, yeah, it's getting pretty bad. But feel free to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we do see that Doom did make the play that I had talked about. He went ahead and grabbed that medium Satyr, so he'd have a mana burn, something to break off that Lincoln's if he can get to Invoker. And he'll have that going forward. I imagine he'll try to keep that through most of the game. This Disruptor, though, poor guy has been on welfare all game. All he has is Arcane Boots and a Windlace and a Wand. Other than that, it's been wards, and I imagine that trend will continue through the rest of the game. Because if he could get something like an Ags, it would be huge this game. But it's so far away for him, I don't think he's ever going to get close.
On the Nyx you're talking about?
On the Disruptor.
Oh, Disruptor, okay. Gotcha.
Nyx will get there. He's looking to go it now. He picked up a Yule Scepter, so if he does get Kinetic Field Static Stormed, he can at least live through some of that. And if he does get got on by the rest of the team, it buys him some time. It's kind of the same concept as a Sand King. You just want time for your Blink Dagger to come up, Parabase to come back up. So picking that up for a little more utility, and looks like he is going to go for the Ags now. But Garter still just wants to hit every creep he can find. I mean, this guy is farming like a madman.
He truly is. I mean, he's dropped up a little bit in a third in the game, but still overall very good considering the circumstances. Meanwhile, Static Storm Connect Field not going to collapse on him. He does get glimpsed, but he goes right back to the lane, and it actually almost helps him in a sense. So,
yeah, a bit of an odd misstep. We haven't seen Jabs make a play like that where he messed up the glimpse until then, but they'll find the Pudge consolation prize.
It's something out of it, but yeah, that was well escaped even by Juggernaut right there. And yeah, the bottom push continuing once again. So the split push strategy, very real by Prodota right here. They're constantly just keeping them moving from top to the bottom lanes. This goes back to what you're suggesting how, I mean, the more time they also do this, the bigger and better that Invoker, and especially ideally that Juggernaut, will be. Now they're going to go for another Roshan here. This would be a third Roshan, thus the Chi's going to draw.
Yeah, and they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now got their window. They can either go for the Roshan, or they can go for the Chi's. And they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now got their window. They can either go for the Roshan, or they can go for the Chi's. And they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now got their window. They can either go for the Roshan, or they can go for the Chi's. And they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now got their window. They can either go for the Roshan, or they can go for the Chi's. And they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now got their window. They can either go for the Roshan, or they can go for the Chi's. And they're going to get it cleanly. There is no way for PD to contest. And this is the time where basically Going In's now this is our time to break the base. If we fail right now, the game gets exponentially harder. So I imagine we're going to see them correct their lanes a little bit, push them out, and once they're in an okay position, they're going to barrel down a lane as 5.
I'll take that.
Nick's kind of scouting things out, continuing to do so. Obviously trying to set up any Sunstrike attempts right here with the Invokers we've seen so many times throughout this game.
Yeah, and that's another benefit to grouping up for going in. If they do that, the Doom does have a gem, so you can't just waddle in if you're the Nyx. You have to be cautious of that at all times. And it gets a lot harder for them to engage. Pudge wants one-on-ones, or he wants to pull people out of position. Nyx likes to find those little picks with Sunstrike we've been seeing all game. Like, their team fight is relatively weak on Prodota's side. But it's just been hard for going in to find times to group when their lanes just keep getting pushed out like this.
Yeah. Blazemon scouting things out here in the middle lane. He has that cheese, of course. Refraction is going to be put up. He's almost level 25, by the way, on that TA, and thus the +3 refraction instances, or the -30 second respawn time, but I would think the refraction instances probably going to be the choice to expect there from the TA. As top lane, Invoker, he will once again keep the pressure with Pudge. It's almost like Pudge is also here as like a savior for Mickey. As yeah, this is one of the reasons. Doom comes out. The hook goes through, though. He actually hits Doom himself. He's going to lock him down with a Dismember, but buying some time for Mickey to try to escape. Darkseer in pursuit, though. Out comes the combo with the Glimpse, and down goes Mickey. So it feels like it was just eventually going to happen. And that's exactly what they needed there. They finally catch the Invoker.
That fight almost took long enough for Lincolns to come back up and block the Glimpse.
Oh,
if that had happened, it would have been really depressing. He would have been off the edge of the map. They wouldn't have had any chance to catch him, but does come through, and so they committed Doom and Static Storm to bring him down, but he is dead. They have a chance to go forward now and get something done, and Blaze is taking advantage of that.
Go onto the Pudge, and now going for the Nyx Assassin. Pops the BKB in the background. Nyx, though, he'll be more than fine as he gets back to base right there. And again, Juggernaut now trying to keep up that split push as he is at the bottom with the creep wave just about to join him here. So obviously making 35 seconds of resurrection. But look at this, he goes right for the range racks and gonna force Disruptor to come on in by himself, though. Yeah, he's not shouldn't be too scared about just that. Now they do have Doom coming in the flank, but gonna at least try to get one of these racks. Here comes Doom, though. This is where it could get interesting opens with some auto attacks right here. He's gonna try to spin out and survive. Meanwhile, the middle push happening by going in.
Yeah, Jug wins this 1v2. He pulled them away from the creeps and blinked back in, blew him up with Omni Slash. He can't continue to push with the Doom and the Disruptor here, but he can. So he gets the first one on the Disruptor, going back for the racks now.
He's going to finish off the range racks, and the melee racks is just about dead as a result. There's a fortification coming out, but Doom himself obviously can't really be too confident about making a play. Meanwhile, back here, actually, Prodota makes some big plays because Ursa's going to be locked down, eventually killed off right here, and he has the Aegis to bring it back up. But this is a lot of time being wasted and allowing for Juggernaut to ultimately finish off the racks. And now Ursa in trouble. It should be dying again on top of it, and down he goes. He has a buyback, but Prodota, they do technically win in the sense of more racks taken out.
And this shows the depth of skill that this team has, their confidence in playing different styles of Dota. This should have been a fairly easy closeout for going in with the situation they were in. It was going to be very straightforward, very standard, and a lot of teams would have just kind of crumbled. You try to defend against the Aegis, you all die, and nothing happens. Garter's been playing the split push game all game, and he's been doing it well. He's hardly ever gotten caught, and I mean, he just turned that into an equal trade, and then they get the Ursa off the back. That was huge for them, and it's looking like they're going to be firmly in the driver's seat here.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely big for Prodota, and again, a game that's felt like going in has had such a good, been in such a good situation for most of it, but now all of a sudden that momentum shifting big time. The Shrine's going to be destroyed in favor of Prodota here, at least the top Shrine that is. As, yeah, they take it out, and before going in can respond, they're going to be jetting on out of there, essentially. So you see that dip now in the net worth chart as well as the experience chart, really giving a good idea.
To be more specific of how that chart looks and its actual impact in the game, look at the ripple effect. Jug stayed bottom. It pulled back Doom and Disruptor so they couldn't aid in the push. Disruptor dies. Jug gets their axe. They kill the Ursa. They get a backup tower after the kill on Ursa. And now look at the gold. I mean, your Rubik's at 1,800. He's going to be closing in on a Blink Dagger or something substantial. The Invoker's at 5,400 gold. Pudge is going to get to a Blink Dagger, which I wasn't sure if he was going to this game. And Nyx has enough for Nags.
Yeah,
you literally just donated a major item to almost everyone on PD by the full-on ripple effect of what happened there.
It feels like it, yeah. I mean, Rubik already has the Blink Dagger even, so see what Insania decides to make with that farm. But definitely has plenty of options. 1,800 gold saved up, as mentioned.
He may go look to go second Lincolns at this point, honestly. If he can just throw the Lincolns on the Jug, because we already saw Invoker occasionally putting it on the Jug to help him siege. If they get a second one in this, it's going to be extremely hard for Doom to find anything close to a viable target.
Gold and sweet.
Top lane Doom, he's hunting. And he could find some food here in Pudge. But Pudge making his way out, using that new Blink Dagger of his that he just purchased to kind of get the distance and, again, keep a distraction if anything. Meanwhile, Cheshire Cat, he's going to find Ursa. Finally will open onto him. Out comes a Sunstrike. Drops about half life, but not going to go all out, although Dismember is going to set up even more damage. Vacuum will cancel it, but the deafening blast in the background of Ursa healing on up right there as he pops the Enrage and gets some big auto attacks in, and we will survive, but...
Yeah, Come With Me thought that hook was going to be enough to seal it out, and in reality, he just pulled him too far away from the Nyx. The Nyx was Vendetta ready to kill him off there, and all of a sudden, your Ursa's on the wrong side of the cliff.
Yeah. And now Pudge is staying dead for 30 seconds, actually, so this is a prime spot now for going in to capitalize, make a play somewhere. I mean, it's not the longest time, I guess. Yeah, Roshan not up yet, obviously, at this point. You mentioned earlier they got the traps in there to scout that out, but unable to do that. They will take out shrines, though, at least the top shrine, so they make a little bit of use. But meanwhile, Garter's going in. He's going to start dropping the bottom shrine down here of going in. And I don't think they're going to be able to respond to it, so even Prodota's able to make something happen with this. And
Yep.
Garden's actually getting pretty close to finishing his own butterfly here.
Yeah, he opted to go for the Lincolns first, which I absolutely love. I don't even think he'll finish it off with a butterfly at this point. He's going to get something that provides him a little more team fight. At the moment, he has an Abyssal in his quick buy. I like that from him. Wow, Blaze is going to drop here?
Oh my god, he almost dropped. Refraction comes out at the last second, though. And Blazemon will some way, somehow survive. Now the wall in the background, Carter. He's on the run, spinning on out. The chase happening here, but man, not killing TA. That's got to be so frustrating.
I mean, that's twice. The Ursa was sub 200 health and they couldn't bring him down. That TA was at 14. I mean, they caught the TA at a time where she had used Butterfly for the movement speed already, so she didn't have the evasion. It was the best chance they were going to find to actually bring her down, because they don't have any MKBs to really go through that evasion at this point.
Yeah. That was big, though, for TA surviving, and obviously Prodota kind of slapping their hands on their forehead, I'm sure. But what's done is done. Move on from it and continue to build up that farm. And, yeah, you do see Juggernaut, actually. He is going to shift his mindset right here. Instead, going to be going to Basher into the Abyssal Blade.
I think there's even a chance that Basher turns into an MKB instead after that kill. I mean, or that lack of a kill.
Okay.
When somebody gets away that low, you kind of start wondering, okay, well, someone might have to pick it up. Anyone, the other option would be maybe Invoker selling off one of his items for a Bloodthorn at some point. That'd give you a little bit of a window where you have True Strike on the TA, and so if you can get her silence with Jug beating on her, she would die. But yeah, I mean, he's done now. The Invoker got his final item. The Octarine's finished up. Wow.
That was an attempt, and actually the gem's down. They don't see it. Okay, Mikey, is he? Nope. Okay, they're going to leave the gem, actually. I mean, he definitely saw it. He's standing right next to it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not really sure what that is.
they're gonna leave it, I guess. But that was a good attempt from Nyx to actually try to pour it out in time. However, just enough damage to finish him off in the vacuum. I believe canceled it really at the last second. So stopping him from getting out. Well played right there in terms of response. But again, it's like when you see one player dying somewhere, it's the lane across the map is being pushed in by Prodota. They're just so good at that split push and keeping going in from really capitalizing off of any of these picks.
What you need to answer this is the item that TA just most recently picked up. You need Boots of Travel. You need to be able to have somebody who can push out the lane and then pour it in and still join you when you want to go take an objective. Now the problem is, if you don't think that the person with Boots of Travel can 1v1 the split pusher, then it gets really dangerous. Because if you're trying to face Garter and Garter Omni slashes you and you die, your Boots of Travel are now useless because you're dead. So it's an interesting dichotomy to try to stop the split while still getting objectives, because it's slowing the game down a lot. The split 15 minutes ago, and I don't know. Going in's gonna get a 4th consecutive Roshan here.
Oh,
And I'm just wondering if they're going to be able to close with this.
Yeah, Ursa, he sets that up. So, yeah, they are going to go for yet another Roshan as mentioned. They do catch Pudge, by the way.
Never mind. Disruptor's just... God. Jabs is the MVP of this game, without a doubt.
Glimpse, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Oh, Glimpse catches him, secures the kill. And again, Pudge is dead for 40 seconds. So, and that is fairly significant. Not necessarily core, but those hooks can be pretty intimidating when you're pushing in. So knowing that they don't have to worry about this, the tower going to take a lot of pressure. Obviously, they still got plenty of damage, though. Mickey, he is level 25 as well. It does have that AoE Deafening Blast worth pointing out on top of it. So we'll see if that comes into play in this fight, as well as the Octarine core. You see the, what's that, Refraction going to be stolen by Rubik. And they will hold them off, actually, for the time being. They do not even get the tier 3 tower. Is that surprising that Going In couldn't even manage that?
Slightly. I think they maybe could have gotten it, but the thing is, it's not regenning. There's not really any reason you need to risk it. They've had a bunch of bad team fights with the Roche. Maybe they thought TA had to burn BKB right away. She got hit by a tornado and an EMP was going to explode. So she BKB'd really early. It wasn't a team fight per se. So yeah, looks like they just want to take it a little slow. The other thing is TA is very close to a full Bloodthorn. That's a huge upgrade on what I'm assuming is going to be your Deso slot going away. And once they pick that up, I think they'll feel a lot more confident just to run in and really try to take fights to them.
Yeah. Invoker pushing out bottom here. He does have Nyx nearby as kind of that bodyguard once again. So good job of sticking together as they were to be jumping. We saw earlier, though, they were able to pick off Invoker, at least that one time at the top lane. So it is possible.
They're going hard on these Bloodthorns when going in.
Yeah.
Ursa's going to pick one up here shortly himself, going for like the pure control build with the Abyssal and the Bloodthorn. I like it a lot, especially with the number of Lincolns being picked up. It gives you a chance to actually get a Doom off, because Bloodthorn does pop it. So it's a possibility for them here. We'll just have to see. These team fights are going to be all hairline. I think it's going to be whoever goes first wins. If you get a pick off with Glimpse, you start the fight off 4v5, you're in really good shape. If you get an initiation with Nyx into a Sunstrike, into like an Omni Slash or something, then you're in good shape on Prodota. So the fight's going to be about vision and taking a fight from a good angle.
Well, speaking of that good angle right here, TA's actually, okay, I thought she might have been in a bad spot, but never mind, they are TPing out, so not going to be able to make any kind of play there, and it will be fine, so never mind.
So one fun thing in the late game is to look at TA's traps and see how many she's actually put in decent positions. Like we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Sorry, you're good.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm listening to the technical part.
Yeah. Trying to get the lag addressed here. So
yeah, for anyone watching, guys, we'll get it fixed between games. Trying to get it fixed in the middle of the game's chaotic and gonna slow everything down. So we'll get it fixed between the series here. But yeah, at the moment, you still see going in looking to siege the high ground. Ursa still has the Aegis. They just need to find the right time.
What that right time is, well, not just yet. Nyx Assassin, Vendetta. He's hunting. He almost found Doom there, but Doom obviously blink daggering away before he gets caught, and he'll be fine. So he's doing the swapping in of a couple of items here, the Hand of Midas as well as the blink dagger onto Doom. So the micro's coming out. Is building a Silver Edge in full as well. So we'll love that.
I think that's just more slot efficiency at this point. He wants to keep the invis. And so when you don't have any more items to buy, that's just kind of the route you have to go.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything particularly great in this game, but it is what it is. The TA actually made an interesting choice. Bloodthorn's still in the quick buy, but opted to go to Boots of Travel 2 before that. So really valuing the chance to maybe push out lanes and then TP on the Doom or someone else in the middle of a fight and get it started.
I'm watching this Pudge over here. He is just hiding. Hoping not to be found. Maybe trying to set up something, I guess, but anything kind of split push and continue that process once again is up here. Doom almost catching up with the Juggernaut, but he manages to escape as he pops the Manta.
Both teams know all they need is one small opening, and then this game's going to get blown wide open. It doesn't even matter which team gets it at this point. And so they're both playing super safe. And no one wants to be the one to die and say you lost this game.
Yep, this game one of a best of 3. So again, no matter what, there's at least one more game coming at you. But being a best of 3 right here, definitely do not want to fall behind. That's the last thing you want to do. So both these teams hoping to get that 1-0 start. The bots, I mean, he has enough gold for it on Juggernaut, but of course buyback, as always, going to be important. Nyx is hunting though again. I mean, keep seeing these opportunities. It's like we're rinse and repeat right here. Going in one after the other. This time the Abyssal Blade locked down on top of the Sunstreak coming out. The AoE Deafening Blast pushing it back, and there's the kill on a TA. So finally, a big pick off that they were looking for from Prodota this time.
Yeah, it is a very big pick. You definitely want to force her buyback. It'd give you an opportunity for 6 minutes to actually make something substantial happen in this game. And it would mean it's down for the potential Roche fight. Because Roche is going to be coming up here sometime in the next 6 minutes, and they really, really need to get this buyback out.
Yeah. Juggernaut just going to push in the lane a little bit more, but of course that's the one with the Rax is already destroyed, so making their way to the middle lane. In fact, getting a catch again here, this time on a Doom. And a Sunstrike, plenty of damage coming out from that. And yeah, the gem now, double gem on Nyx. Going for each
He doesn't have
here.
buyback either. He spent his buyback money on that gem.
That's critical. That's even more so than the TA, obviously, who at least has the buyback. So they will not have a Doom ulti. And
Yeah, so this is
Prodota,
the chance for yeah, this is where you go for PD. You have to make the gamble. Can we initially siege this and hope he doesn't have buyback and see safely? And it looks like they know now.
oh, hook in the background on TA. That's a prime target right there. Going for the kill. Static Storm does catch Juggernaut, so he's caught in the midst of that. But they're going to be pushing each other around. And now Juggernaut on the other side of that kinetic field. A double wall. I believe that one was used right there maybe by the Rubik at least. So I don't know which solutions are which. But anyways, Garter, he's spinning on out. He will manage to live. The Glimmer Cable looks like coming on him to survive. Down goes the Darks here. Ursa being locked down heavily. No mana left as well. He's going to be burnt down. And yes, he is destroyed. TA coming back into the fight. Buyback ready for Ursa. Juggernaut does go down though. He has a buyback, but Mickey still doing plenty from a distance. And there we go. There is the dieback as mentioned though. TA. He's staying dead for a good 100+ seconds. Now Prodota, they're going cutthroat right here. They want this finish. Garter back in the fight as he TP's back in with the bots and the buyback. They're going for Ursa. That would be a dieback as well. If they get him killed, that could do it. No, he pops a cheese just in time to stay alive. But the outside path around the hook pullback actually. He has the range popped right here, trying to live. Going back in, knows he kind of has to right here, but the Abyssal Blade locked down, and he's dead. He's staying dead, and Prodota might have just done it. GG being called. Prodota takes the first game here, despite being behind in the early parts.
So the dream of Prodota smashing the series 2-0 is definitely, that game was super close, but oh wow. That fortitude from Prodota to stay calm, push out the lanes, keep the game going at your own pace, it paid off so huge for them. They just gave up every Roche on this game and still managed to take this game.
I'm looking at the net worth graph to finish there. Pretty absurd as far as how that just dips at the very end. It was upwards of over 10,000 just 5 minutes ago, it feels like. And then all of a sudden goes in favor by the end, of course, as they're making the final push right there.
It was 10,000 a minute and 47 seconds before the throne fell.
Jeez.
But that's just the diebacks and the kills and the racks. They essentially, going in, had a 10k lead going into that last team fight and still couldn't manage to do it. The Doom dying before he got a Doom off was huge. He didn't have buyback, and they just pushed that to the max. Blaze had to buy back before he wanted to, and as soon as that happened, that whole fight just went belly up for them. That was a disaster.
Prodota, 1 win away from going to the regionals, going in and going to have to try to force a third and final game, and that's one that obviously they have to feel pretty sore about with the end result here. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. We're going to go on a short break once again. Looks like it might have been getting a little bit better there at the end, but crossing the fingers. Hopefully we're going to be good to go with also game number 2 coming up shortly. Lobby's already up, getting in. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.